I like that we're getting ongoing narratives with this series. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 8 of City the Animation. Had to check because for some reason that just always skips my mind. Yeah, I really like, though, like I said in the cold open, that this series is giving us more ongoing narratives and storylines as compared to Nichijou. I've referred to this series as the more grown-up version of Nichijou in a way. It carries a lot of the same goofiness, a lot of the same ridiculousness, a lot of the same random bullshit, but it presents it in a way that's like more reaching towards the adult who still has that child at heart attitude to them, who still feels like fun is not something to abandon as you get older, who still feels like you can enjoy your life and still be, an adult. And so I think it captures that well. It's fun, it's goofy, it's silly, just like Nichijou was, but it's a little more serious, and it tackles some more serious subjects. And subjects that can also appeal to the younger demographic who will watch this. Because, like, even just the topic of Ep8 moving away is something that a lot of people are going to be able to connect to and relate to. Having a friend who moves away and having to deal with, like, the issues of that. But then there's topics that are going to, like, make a little more sense to adults, such as Nagamo consistently avoiding paying rent or whatnot to the landlady, and the landlady always hounding her for that. And then you have the stuff with the mangaka, whose name I still don't remember, and his editor, Todoroki. Their entire, like, back and forth regarding that. And it's like, yeah, kids can understand manga to a point, but it goes more into, like, the process of getting it published and all, which is something that would, I feel like, appeal more to the adults watching. And so it's like it's a series that kind of combines those two generations in a way. It combines elements that appeal to kids and elements that appeal to adults, and makes it a series that works for everyone. And I feel like that's what a show should do. And not just an anime, just any animated series should be working to appeal to a large scale audience of all demographics. And this is what makes animations like The Owl House so successful in my eyes. Because The Owl House, yeah, it definitely appeals to kids, but there's a lot of stuff in there that, like, the kids aren't going to understand, but adults definitely will. There are a lot of jokes and themes for adults just as much as the kids. And even going to something you wouldn't think of being a show that kind of blends those two sides together and appeals to both of those demographics, there's My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, which obviously had this big boom with the brony fandom and everything. And, I mean, say what you will about some parts of the brony fandom being, fucking terrible, but the point is that the show was made specifically to appeal to all demographics. Lauren Faust wanted it to, appeal to the parents who would be watching with their children, or any adults who just enjoy animation as well. And they succeeded. It was an extremely successful project that appealed to every demographic and became so hugely popular because of that. And it tackles a lot of things that kids are not going to understand that are really heavy, really dark. It tackles, there's literally a communist cult in season 5. And it tackles things that kids should start to learn about and understand at a certain point as well, such as racism and whatnot. But there's going to be a lot of things that kids just aren't going to get at the intended marketed age that you would think of for My Little Pony. Like what, 5 to 10-year-old girls? They're not going to understand a lot of the themes and messages of Friendship is Magic. They're not. They're just going to say, oh, cute ponies doing cute things. That's all they care about. But the adults watching with their kids, or adults, again, watching because they enjoy animation and want to check this out, they're going to get that stuff. And that's why the creators put that in there. And that's why, like, the creators even go to, like, the fan conventions and meet with these adult fans, because they want to make sure to appeal to everyone. And they meet with, child fans at the conventions, too. Children go to those, too. But still, you get the point. I went into this entire ramble about MLP. But that's kind of what I'm trying to get across here. That City is another one of those shows that blends both appeals for children and adults. It's one of those shows that really does that well, to where any demographic could easily enjoy this series. Easily. And I think that's, like, really, really appealing, and I think most animations should aim for that. I'm not saying that most will, but most should. It's the shows that I feel like only appeal to, like, the young child demographic. I think those shows are, like, the bad ones. The ones that really don't have as much value. Basically, the shows that are just there to, teach people shit. To teach kids basic ABCs and whatnot. Those shows are not good. But even amongst, like, those preschooler cartoons, there's still exceptions. There's still shows that, like, still respect the kids enough to, like, not talk down to them. I mean, look at Bluey. Bluey blew up with an adult audience as well. And that's very much, like, a kind of, like, younger audience show than even, like, MLP. And then you have something like Bob the Builder or Dora the Explorer, and those are like, okay, kids can enjoy those, but the adults aren't really gonna get too much from them. The adults will have more fun making fun of them than anything. But then you also had stuff like Blue's Clues, and it's like pretty much every adult I know from my generation grew up with Blue's Clues and looks back on that so fucking, like, fondly. And we still, like, love, like, Steve Burns and everything, and, like, still, like, really get attached to that kind of thing. Because it's well made to a point to where it can still trigger that appeal in adults, even if we wouldn't necessarily watch that nowadays. We still, it has such fond memories because it didn't speak down to us as kids. And it was fun and goofy and ridiculous at points. But it was also smart and clever and funny and charming as fuck. So it's like, there are ways to even do preschool shows in a really respectful way towards the kids who watch it, and to make it even somewhat appealing to adults who might be watching it, again, with their kids. You just have to be able to appeal to multiple demographics at once, and it's clearly not as hard as you would think, considering so many shows have successfully done it. And this show I think is marketed towards a more mature audience, like older teens, young adults. I think that's like more of the marketed demographic, so it's not like it's aimed at kids. But it's even with that like clearly intended demographic being older, it's still presented in a way to where it can appeal to the younger demographic because it's mostly goofy, ridiculous fun. It's just the topics of that goofy, ridiculous fun are sometimes very mature. But kids won't mind that. They'll still have fun with it. So yeah. Sorry for this long-winded ramble about just the demographic ideas with this series. But it was just an interesting thing I was thinking about that I wanted to talk about today. So we're just going to get into this reaction. There's not really too much else I have to talk about here. So let's check out this episode and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, there were a couple things I was confused on during this episode. I wanted to look things up a little bit. Adatara, who, oh god, what is her name? Hold on. Tanabe. Tanabe has a crush on Adatara, Tatsura Adatara, right? I was really confused. I'm like, isn't he in school? Isn't he like a kid still? I was thinking of Ryota Adatara. I was thinking of his younger brother. We know the Adatara family has like, you know, a notable amount of people in it. Tatsura Adatara is the eldest son. He is an adult. The one I was thinking of was Ryota, who is the modern day William Tell. Yeah, he's the classmate of Tatewaku and Riko. Another thing I was kind of wondering, I was trying to find their specific ages, like for Tanabe and whatnot. I couldn't find like anything specific. The only ages that I actually found was for the main trio. With Nagumo being 20. Wako is right around 20 as well, because she's also a sophomore at the college. And Nikura is actually the youngest at 18. But they are all, like, you know, young adults and everything. But everyone else is, like, just basically within the range of, like, oh, this is a adult, this is a student, etc. The funny thing is, I didn't realize Tanabe was an adult, and that's part of the thing with this art style. It's very chibi-like, so sometimes it is a little hard to tell, because that's just like what the style is. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with an artist having a specific style, but with other characters you can tell a lot more. Like Nagumo you can tell is an adult. Wako kind of like you could see either way. She has a very like childish demeanor and all. Nikura honestly I think I could tell as an adult too. But Tanabe always felt like she was like high school age to me. Like she was like the obviously like she has a butler and everything, but I figured that was also her family's butler. Excuse me. And we just haven't seen her family yet. But no, apparently it's just hers. She's older than we thought. And I was trying to look that up because she said that she and Adatara had known each other, or vaguely known each other, for 18 years. And so I'm thinking, like, okay, how old do I think that they were supposed to be at that beginning of that flashback sequence? And it's like, I'm thinking, like, okay, maybe around mid 20s. So maybe that they were like 5 to 8 or something then. And it's like, okay, that kind of tracks. I think that's supposed to be around the age they are, like mid 20s. But I couldn't find anything definitive one way or the other. But yeah, I got confused on Adatara on which Adatara it was. Also to note, um, speaking of Rico, I understand that everyone falling in love with her is a gag, but the cop falling in love with her is uncomfortable because she is, and I made sure of this. She's not a college student. I wasn't like weirdly mistaken about that. No, she is a high school student. And even if she's a older high school student, even if she were like 17 or whatnot, it's like she's still a high school student. And I mean, we also saw like the old man and everything had been affected too. And like when they were like pulling out the arrows and throwing them to everyone, just random people started getting affected, including other adults, including the nice man. Um, he was the one who was shown like implanted into the wall, right? So it's like I think the fact that it started to like be like the arrows were thrown towards everyone helped a little bit, but it was still a little uncomfortable because again, she's a high school student. She's a child. And so the idea of like adult characters falling in love with her is still very fucking weird. But it also showed that the cop had a thing for the reason why he was pulling out the arrows and everything was because he has a thing for Waka, which that's fine because she's an adult. She's like around 20 years old, so that's okay. It's just her younger sister is that's just weird. And again, I get that it's a gag and it's not meant to be taken super seriously. I understand that, but it's still weird to me. It's still uncomfortable. Um it's not as bad as it could be because it's very clearly not trying to paint it as like an actual like um what's the word? He's not like trying to fall in love with her. He's not trying to like pursue her or anything. None of them are. It's just kind of like this like magnetism thing. If he was actually pursuing her, that would be an issue. That would be a bigger issue, even for a comedic parody series like this. That would be the problem. But he actually was rejecting it, which I will give credit for. He was rejecting it because he has a crush on Wako, which I'll give that at least. Um, but Tatewaku wanting to go out with her and succeedingly doing so, by the way. Like, this is a ship I do support because obviously they're around the same age. And this has been like an ongoing thing for the series. Like, he has had a crush on her, like all of his other classmates. And he has been wanting to ask her out. And so now he finally gets up the nerve to, and he succeeds. She agrees to go to the play with him. And although she was like kind of dozing off because that's just who she is, it's like she happily accepted going on this date with him. Even with the way the weird silly way he was dressed and everything. I don't think she minded. She's very casual and lackadaisical. So I don't think she'd mind like a weird out there look like that. Other people might, but she's the kind of person who would be a little more accepting of that. Um, Personally, if someone were to ask me on a date and came in ridiculous looking clothes like that, I'd probably laugh. And not like laugh them off like, oh, like not a chance. No, I'd laugh as like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm definitely going with this. No, 'cause I would find it funny. I would find it genuinely funny and silly and everything. And it's like, okay, I can dig some good silliness like that in a relationship. So let's go for it. I'm I'm more accepting like that myself. I'm not like someone who believes like, oh, my date or my partner would have to like dress up super fancy and nice. I'm not about that. It's it's really not that important to me. Like, I have nothing wrong with it. Like, if you want to dress that nice, cool. Like, I'd be willing to dress nice too, but it's like I'm also willing to like go out in like t-shirt and jeans and stuff. It's like there's nothing wrong with that either. It doesn't, you don't have to dress fancy. It also maybe sometimes depends on where you're going for a date too. But going to a play like that, you don't have to dress fancy. Um, Either way, we actually get to see the play. And it's really fun. Like, I would love to go to like a performance like that because it's like it's goofy, it's fun, it's obviously a telling of the tale of Momotaro. It's just it's so wacky, and I love to go to like a wacky play like that. I've only been to one play in my life, and it was actually just very recently. It was Joseph and the Coat of Many Colors, the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Um, it was the first ever play that I've actually attended. I've seen like videos online for others, but I've never actually been to one. And I had a blast with it. It was really fun. Um, so I got to go to that, and this seems like it would be even more fun though because it seems like purposefully wacky and over the top and silly, and that kind of shit would definitely appeal to me. Just the absolute bonkers bullshit of it would absolutely appeal to me. Um, but yeah, we see going back to Tanabe, she wants to ask Adatara out because she likes him. There's a lot of love in this, a lot of crushing. It seems to be a theme with this episode. And so she doesn't want to just be super direct because she's, a little nervous about that. And with talking with her butler, she eventually comes to the decision to call him and ask him what his favorite food is so they can maybe prepare it for him. Except she ends up getting his father on the phone, not realizing it's his father, and asks him. And his father's like, oh, I don't know, yakisoba bread? And she thinks it's her crush, Adatara, and she she takes that to heart, and it's like, oh no, he might not like that though. And I mean, he might, or he might just not be as into it as his father is, but it's like she got the wrong person. um Also, I think that's the second time we've seen yakisoba bread in this series, because, or no, is it the third? No, no, no. I was thinking, is yakisoba bread what like fell into the nice man's bag in, what was that? Was that episode one? I think. I don't think it was. I think that was something else. But we definitely saw yakisoba bread in that bakery, that fancy bakery. So there was that. Which I think it's just a very common thing in Japan. I've never personally been to Japan. My sister has. She'd probably know. But I think yakisoba bread is a common like treat in Japan, so it's not like out of the ordinary or anything for it to be featured multiple times. It's just something I noticed. um, But yeah, it's really interesting when these episodes can be so well themed, because this episode definitely felt like it was very focused. The only part I think that felt like completely off was the rock band part, with Matsuri and Etchan wanting to start a rock band with Tatewaku, and trying to think of a name that wasn't either lame or taken. It felt kind of random, but I mean, you can't expect every skit in the episode to be perfectly on theme. So, to be fair, I think or not Adataru, I think Tatewaku was thinking about asking Rico out at that point anyway. So it kind of like connected a little bit. And we know that Matsuri and Etchan kind of tried to help him out. Um, when he was gonna ask her out and everything, but he didn't end up needing the help. So it's like things were connecting still, and I like that this series connects different plot points and characters and whatnot. It makes it feel like just really alive as a location and as a cast. And so yeah, I really like that. We didn't get any Wako or Nikura in this episode. I noticed. Like Nagamo was part of the play, acting as Momotaro, but Nikura wasn't anywhere in this, and Wako was only shown through the cops like mind. He was thinking about her because of his crush on her, and that's all we saw even of Wako. Which is interesting that we missed out on two of our main characters in this one, two of our main trio. We did get at least one of them, and I don't think we'll get an episode without at least one of them. But excuse me. But yeah, it is interesting that we only had one of them, and honestly, Nagamo had a very small part in this one. This was much more focused on like honestly Tatawaku. I think he was like kind of the main focus of this one, which I'm fine with. I have no problem with that. It's just it's noticeable, you know. But yeah, I had fun with this episode. I thought it was another really good one. I liked the theming. Um, it made me realize that certain characters are definitely older than I thought they were, and certain characters are not who I thought they were in terms of like who they are. It's like no, it's the older Adatara brother, but also it's like it has that one issue that I still have with it, with the cop falling in love with Rico. But again, it's playing it as entirely a gag, not meant to be taken seriously. And like everybody in the nearby vicinity fell in love because of the arrows anyway, so it's like it's clearly not meant to be taken as a literal thing. And again, he was actively choosing to not pursue her because he was more interested in Wako, her sister, which again, that age works out. But still, it's just something that did admittedly make me a little bit uncomfortable. It's not as bad as some other shows that will like just give excessive fan service to underage characters or whatnot. That's a lot worse. Or shows that like try to have a pairing between like a 30-year-old guy and like a 16, 17-year-old girl character or something. It's like there's a lot of these shows that just do shit like that, and it's just like that's not okay. But this is like again, the way it's handled makes it oh not okay, but like digestible, allows it to be like more easily acceptable given the circumstances. Because he doesn't actually like her in that way. It's just more of like a magnetic um just a magnetism thing. I don't know like another way to word that. He's just magnetically like attracted based purely on her like personality, and he again denied it. So anyway, anyway, um, not much else to really talk about with this episode. So although I've actually talked a lot more with this episode than other ones, admittedly. Either way, tell me your thoughts down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.